How's it going, everyone, and welcome to Episode 7 of the Network. It is still I, Nathan, and I'm here with Easton, Trevor, and Caden. This week we are wrapping up Week 6 in the NFL, and we're going straight to Caden for his weekly recap.
I want to start with the Cardinals. They kind of dismantled the Browns, remain undefeated.
I was the only one that picked them, and you guys thought the upset would happen, which is respectable.
Yeah. I don't completely understand why the Browns are so bad. They've had a lot of lapses in coverage. And then I don't believe in Baker very much. I don't think they should give him a big contract this offseason.
Every year it seems like the Browns are going to be the team this year. The Browns are going to be this team. Mm-hmm. But injuries just kind of screw them a little bit.
Yeah, not even just injuries. Like, every team gets hurt. Every team's dealing with injuries. And maybe the Browns with missing their two biggest running backs and then Baker Mayfield not playing up to par. I don't know how much of that is to do with his shoulder injury, though. I mean, he still heaved out a Hail Mary before half.
Yeah.
So I don't know how bad it really is. He might be playing it up. Players tend to do that. Players do.
Peoples-Jones is his name, right?
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, that guy, he got up there.
Yeah,
he snagged it out.
Michigan player. He's been on the Browns for a little bit. He's pretty good, though. I feel like, if you're kind of struggling in fantasy, 10-man league, pick him up off the waiver wire. You can see some more work here. But yeah, y'all believe the Cardinals are the best team right now?
Oh yeah, 6-0. You can't deny it.
Yeah, really can't argue with it. At every level, their offense looks the best, and then their defense looked really great against the Browns, and they've looked pretty good all year.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, and then Trayvon Diggs got his 7th pick as well as his 2nd pick six this past game. Is he the Defensive Player of the Year favorite?
I would think so, because he's just turned the Cowboys defense like total 180.
I don't think it all has to do with him, but
I think he is the leader. Yeah, well, he's the leader of that defense. He's what drives the defense to get better, I feel like.
I don't know. For a second-year player that wasn't that good in year one, I don't know if we could really call him the leader of that defense. I look more to guys like Leighton Vander Esch, Demarcus Lawrence, and then a guy that got put in this year was our first-round draft pick, Micah Parsons, was kind of that. It felt like a breath of fresh air and a breath of life for that defense to get a guy like that with a high motor and so much talent, such an athlete. And obviously, Trayvon Diggs has developed a lot as a player from year one to year two. But I wouldn't say he's like the life flow of that defense. But he is definitely a big part of why they've been a lot better this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he continues it up and gets a sack here and there and gets picks here and there again, I feel like he will be the front runner for defense player of the year.
Yeah, I feel like T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett are guys in the conversation right now.
Yeah.
But I would say Trayvon Diggs is the favorite by far. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to keep this level of production up as far as interceptions goes. Because interceptions are just hard to come by no matter how good of a ball hawk you are.
The way they just offenses beat that is just don't throw it where he's at.
Exactly. And that's the thing about Trayvon Diggs' play style is that he isn't that lockdown corner. He isn't a Jay Alexander or Jalen Ramsey guy. There's a reason he's getting all these picks. And that's because he's not perfect in coverage. His play style is much because you're a Chiefs fan. That was Marcus Peters' game.
Oh yeah.
His game. Sometimes he would allow the big play, sometimes he would come down with some picks. Mm-hmm. And it kind of balances out. And it really just depends on what you're willing to give up in return for that high reward of a turnover.
I was reading something, and the big question was, would you rather have a lockdown defender that would take away that number one receiver, or would you rather have a defender like Diggs who would give up a big play here and there, but would reward you with turnovers?
Lockdown defender every day of the week. Yeah, if you can isolate a side of the field. And the thing about Trayvon Diggs, his style of play, is that this is going to work in the regular season when you're playing different quarterbacks. But at the highest level, you're going to be facing the best quarterbacks, and they're not going to make those mistakes.
So you're pretty much asking, would you rather have a consistent 3-and-out over potential big plays here and there?
Yeah, and but Trayvon Diggs just won't have those picks in the postseason. Yeah. He won't have those picks against a Tom Brady.
He's going to be playing a lot better quarterbacks.
Exactly. And maybe you don't even throw it to Trayvon Diggs in the first place. They're not going to be able to bait him. Trayvon Diggs isn't going to be able to bait Tom Brady or quarterbacks like that. Yeah, so this play style, if I'm a contending team, like if my team is good, I want a lockdown corner. If my team's kind of bad and we need those turnovers to win games, I'll take Trayvon Diggs. But your goal is to build a Super Bowl team. So if I'm building a Super Bowl team, I'd rather have the lockdown corner. But I feel like you wanted to say something about his play. You want to go ahead and
I'm going to go
address
back
that?
up from this because
Like
there's
the Trevon
heated
Diggs.
argument.
I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter because they won.
Well,
but
yeah, let's talk about the play first. Mac Jones had a 75-yard touchdown throw to Kendrick Bourne. I don't know. What do you want to say about it?
Hey,
I'm gonna
real
say-
quick, if you ask me, this is a as experienced quarterback who's already starting to pick away what we were just saying about ball placement against him.
Well, that and it's a double move, and he overcommits on the double move as well.
Right.
Sorry, but what do you want to say about it?
in the play, there's a safety that's there to help, granted, but it is still on Diggs to know that, yeah, he does have safety help, but it's still on him to make sure that that ball does not get where it gets in the receiver's hands. So in my opinion, it was Diggs' fault, and the safety just missed the saving tackle.
I think I'd have to agree with that too because
Okay, well, I
Diggs
don't.
missed the coverage.
Chiefs fans don't know anything about safety,
I don't
defense,
know.
and
I
how
don't
safeties
know,
are supposed to play defense.
But I do
so.
know something about football, and I know that Trayvon Diggs has to at least make an effort to not let the wide receiver catch the ball, and it looked like he just got burnt and threw his hands up like crap. I screwed up, and then was relying on the safety to help, and the safety just missed the tackle
Because
and a potential interception
if
too.
every corner would rely on their safety, then all the corners begin to be.
No, well, you wouldn't know if the safeties did their job, having that deep zone where they're taking half the field and they see that deep ball get thrown. They need to be there because you're going man on man, and the situation when they're on the 20, you're not really looking for them to expose you deep, so you're probably going to play underneath a little bit more, right?
And you know that
the safety is there to help you.
Exactly.
And they're not just there to tackle. They're there to make a play on the ball. And he
Well,
had plenty of
I'm
time,
just
and he
saying-
just didn't have the positioning.
I don't know, because if you look at the play, by the time he caught the ball, that safety was right behind him. Yeah, he might have been able to hit him the second he caught the ball and maybe dislodged it. I don't know. Didn't happen.
It looks
Yeah.
like the safety's off balance, and that's a bad play by him. He's coming down. He has a lot of time to get there, with the amount of time that this ball was in the air. And to me, it looks like he loses balance trying to cover ground, and he's not there to make the tackle or a deflection because of it.
But again, if Diggs would have.
But like your corners will play to like if he knew he didn't have safety help, then he probably wouldn't be biting on these double moves and biting on these routes
I
the
don't
way
think
he
he
does.
would. I think that's just the way Diggs plays. I think if there was no safety
Well, then
back
that-
there, I think he would have been completely.
Well, then
wrong.
that is Diggs' play style, and the Cowboys look like they're trying to cater to that by having safety help there. If you want Diggs to get all these interceptions, then you need their safety to be there to make sure that when he does make a mistake, because that type of play style is volatile, he's gonna make a mistake. Then he needs to be there to help, and that's what the safety was there to do, and he didn't do it. So yeah, you can put some blame on Diggs, but if you want him to continue to get these picks, then you really can't.
I'm going to play devil's advocate because I'm going to go with Caden here. I think if the safety at least made an effort, a better effort to.
It's not about effort sometimes. I mean, these guys are trying. I'm watching it over, and it just looks like he doesn't have balance. It looks like it's a bad play by him.
Mhm.
Well, it definitely looked like it's overcommitted. So he went behind him, right?
He went
Because,
on,
like,
on top of him. I think he went
yeah.
on top of him and kind of like did a half circle around him.
So it
So
was completely missed. Like, I will say, yes, the safety did have some fault there because he should have been in the head tackle or the help because that's what safeties are for.
mhm.
But if you ask me, it's both their fault because if Diggs would at least made a play on the ball, then the safety wouldn't have been.
But like you just need him to make that play as a safety because that's what he's there for. And
He's the second. Would he be the second option in that situation, or would Trayvon Diggs be the main person guarding?
well, we
that
know
guy?
what Trayvon Diggs does.
Diggs is
He
going to be the
plays-
main, but the safety's there
That's
just to save the touchdown.
Well, that's his man. Sure, that's his man. But we know that Trayvon Diggs plays a style of football, a style of coverage, where he's going to get exposed sometimes, but he's going to also come away with these big turnovers that are game changers. And the safety help is it's supposed to complement that, and he just wasn't there to make the play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Trayvon Diggs did get beaten coverage, but if Trayvon Diggs didn't get beaten coverage sometimes, then he wouldn't have 7 picks, and he wouldn't have 2 pick sixes. One thing I'd like to say is that Mahomes is continuing to struggle They did beat the Washington football team pretty good, but it looked ugly early on.
Very ugly.
That's how the Chiefs play. I feel like they struggle in the first half, and then they come out in the second half. They do well. The first pick was.
What about the Bills? You think they would? You think they would have pulled it? You think they would have pulled it around? Like, despite the delay, you think there was any chance?
I mean, I don't think there was a chance against the Bills, but with Washington's a total different team than the Bills.
Yeah, but this speaks more about the Chiefs and their issues.
I mean, if you ask me, the Bills were a better team than Washington.
Well, obviously.
If you know, like last year, they would always be a second half team, but the picks were where Mahomes threw it. They were on the 5 or 10, whatever, and it just slipped out of Tyreek Hill's hands and picked off. That's not on Mahomes. That's Tyreek Hill's fault for not catching the ball.
What about the other one? I didn't see the other one.
The other one?
The other one was...
Oh, that was the dumb one where he just threw it up.
Yeah.
That's really dumb coming from a $50 million a year dollar man.
Yeah.
Well, and I've said this every single week. Mahomes needs to take the damn sack.
I don't know.
Or just throw it away. Like, legit
Play
throw
like,
it instead of
like
throwing
out of
a prayer.
bounds.
Yeah.
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 It just seems like he's playing too much hero ball.
Exactly.
Like
It is hero
Oh,
ball.
and we
Yes,
have
everything.
reiterated that
He has to
every
make
week.
the big play every single down. Where it's okay to just, there's not a play this one, which is get rid of this play and just.
One
throw it on
thing
the next
I'm kind of curious about is, are the Chiefs asking that much about him from him because they only have Tyreek Hill and they only have Kelsey, to where you kind of have to a certain extent, Mahomes is going to have to play hero ball, but it's just how much are the Chiefs asking him to do, and how much of this is on himself and him wanting to be the hero?
Yeah,
and that's the question.
You can still play hero ball, but it just seems like every time you just don't learn these stupid interceptions.
You know who plays hero ball really well?
If you say
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, well, yeah.
Lamar Jackson plays excellent hero ball, and he is better than Mahomes right now.
Yeah.
But
He didn't have that good of a game against.
He didn't.
But the Ravens just had a great game. But Chiefs.
Mahomes can play hero. I'm not saying he just needs to stop doing what he's doing.
But it's still volatile.
He needs to change it up.
It's the ones where it's like there's nothing you're gonna get out of this play. Just
tuck it in your back pocket.
Yeah, just take the sack, lose 3 yards, and then make it up.
Or
just throw it away.
Eat it out of
And
bounds.
go to the next play.
Or just don't roll out of the pocket where you're gonna get sacked for eight yards. Like you're gonna lose 8 yards. Stay in the pocket. I mean, just
control. Well, he does that a lot where he just rolls.
I know, but you have to have a plan. Like, yeah, that's your plan.
But if you're going
you
to
can't just get sacked and throw up a
yeah.
prayer and get it picked off. Like if you're gonna get outside the pocket, you have to do something with it. Or another. If you can't do that, just stay in the pocket, make your reads. If not, get the ball out to like someone's feet and just have it throw away.
Well, how many conversions have we seen this weekend where it was plus 15 yards and the next play the quarterback just threw a 20-yard pass?
Mm-hmm.
Take the sack. Take the 15 yards back or whatever and make the next play.
Yeah, I'm not saying
give yourself a fighting chance.
I was a little bit confused about that. So.
Even if it's like 3rd down and you throw it away and it's 4th down, it's better to punt it away.
Then interception, potential
pick
pick
six.
six.
Like 50 yards downfield, then I can agree with the pick because what's the real difference?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know what he was thinking in that situation because I was like,
he's thinking he wants.
He thought.
I was like, where was he gonna? What was he? Where was he looking?
He thought I might be able to do this, and then he thought,
I read because if you look at it, there was at least one Chiefs player there, and there was 2 Washington players.
yeah, maybe I was a lineman.
And it looked like when he was going down, he didn't get his full throwing motion down, so that's why it kind of looked like a
Well,
dunk.
he sure didn't get a good throwing motion going.
Okay, and then
But again, you shouldn't do that.
you're calling the Chiefs a second half team.
They always have.
Well, it looks like they're going to be a second half of the season team, or they're going to be in trouble. And then another thing we can address this. It kind of had to do with Trevon Diggs and the Cowboys and the Patriots game. CeeDee Lamb had a game winner. It was a pretty sick play. Kind of waved goodbye.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the things that the Patriots defense needs to work on because
They don't got Stephon Gilmore back there anymore.
the one thing that's hurting the Patriots defense right now is when they line up all the receivers on one side of the ball
They get confused.
and they have 2 run across and they don't know who's covering who and there's usually one player that's open and on that game-winning drive with CeeDee Lamb, he just ran. Simple as it.
Bye.
All the way across the field,
Like
wide open. I mean, could be more open on a game-winning play.
No, I hit that in Madden like at least 5 times a game. But cool moment. Dak looks great. The Cowboys look great. And the last thing I want to touch on my weekly recap is Sean Taylor and his jersey retirement, and Jackson Mahomes more specifically, and dancing on it and taking a picture on it with Patrick Mahomes' fiance or wife.
That was when I saw that. I was like, he frustrates me because like he did the same. He just gets himself in these predicaments. It happened with the Ravens, and it happened with this. I just don't get where his tweet was like that. When he apologized, he said, "I want to sincerely apologize for accidentally being on Sean Taylor's memorial at FedEx Field."
You don't just accidentally walk over a chain.
Like if you were led there, or like I just don't get what the mindset is.
Even then, know better. I don't really know if I don't believe that he was led over there. Well, even if you are, you can. If you have any common sense, you can tell.
The backstory is that doing that when they were allowed onto the field, that's where they were stationed. They said you could stay in this area and you couldn't go anywhere else. We just happened to be next to the memorial and everything. And I guess he thought it was just a big cool thing to stand inside of and take a picture on it. But that's part of one of those disrespectful things you have to do.
Like
just stand outside the chain.
Stand outside the chain and oh my god! I know if you didn't know, like that was a memorial, but still, if something's blocked off, you might have this like a common sense that maybe I shouldn't go past this.
It's kind of like
blocked off.
And to say it was an accident just seems more.
Yeah, and then
that's you just trying to get out of trouble because you know you did something wrong.
Yeah, it seems like you're just. Oh, I didn't know there was a chain there, so I just happened to step over and take a picture. And it's clearly marked off. You're not supposed to go.
Side note, that's a big problem in our society right now. No one wants to take responsibility.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just bad.
So, going forth from our recap, the first thing we would like to touch base on with the NFL is, well, the Cardinals are the only undefeated team right now, so we would all kind of agree they're number one. But we would like to rank all of the 5-1 teams below them. Okay. And that is going to be the Buccaneers, the Packers, the Rams, the Ravens, and the Cowboys.
Yeah,
so,
okay. Can I go first?
Go for it.
Because I already got a thought. I think the Ravens are number one, and then I think the Rams are number two, and I think Tampa Bay's 3, Green Bay's 4, Dallas is 5.
That's very different than what I would say.
Yeah, I see the Rams.
No, actually, I sadly don't have Green Bay.
I think I have high hopes about the Rams, and I think they will eventually make it farther in the playoffs than the other NFC East team.
All right, Trevor, who do you have?
Who are the teams again?
You got the Bucks, Packers, Rams, Ravens, and Cowboys.
Let's see here. I'll definitely put Baltimore first. Then Rams. I probably do exactly what Easton did. Just because, like, if you were to ask me, I would put Bucks and Packers tied together. Because they both look about the same talent-wise. Now, it's a different story when it comes to postseason because Tom Brady's just a different person when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But just looking at it right now, the Ravens look really good with Lamar Jackson. And I think the Rams' one loss against Arizona was just a bad game for them. Mm-hmm. I really think if they were to play them again, they could at least make it closer and maybe even win. But
what's funny is that Lamar Jackson didn't even have the best game last week, and they still obliterated the Chargers.
Yeah, but I think there are some controversial calls the Chargers did that I wouldn't have done if I was a coach. But
all right,
yeah, about going 4-4 down.
Yeah,
I've had a tough time ranking these teams, and I might get some flack for this, but right now I have the Cowboys at 1. They have the best offense. Yeah. They have the best offensive line, in my opinion. They have the best weapons as far as running backs and receivers. They have a defense that has played up to their competition, and they have a really good quarterback. And then I would probably go with the Rams. The Rams beat the Buccaneers when they were a little bit more healthy, but not at full strength, obviously. And They have a pretty good point differential. I think they look good. I think they have the best defensive players out of anyone. I mean, they have the top best defensive players in the league. The top two belong to the Rams. And Matt Stafford with Sean McVay, that's a matchup that I feel pretty confident in. Afterwards, I have the Buccaneers. They're a complete roster.
They are.
Despite their injuries in the secondary, I think that
I really think
top to bottom, they're one of the better teams. That run defense is insane, and that's really important to have a great run defense in the playoffs.
I really think Richard Sherman eventually is going to help him out.
I think I can see that as well. And then I hate to do this, but I'm putting the Ravens above the Packers. The Ravens with Lamar Jackson, they're not a great roster, I don't think, across the board. You know what? No, I'm actually going to flip that. Even though Lamar's my MVP, I have the Packers above them because I believe that roster is a lot better. Jared Alexander being hurt really does hurt the Packers, but they've just been a pretty good team. They've had a lot of close games. Like, their point differential isn't great.
That's the one thing about the Packers. They know how to finish games out though.
Yeah, I mean this year they've had some bad some bad issues closing games in the past.
That is true.
And I mean, it might be the same story that we see every year in the playoffs with the Packers, where we kind of fall apart against one team, and usually in the NFC Championship. And then last place, I have the Ravens, just because I'm not a big fan of that roster. I'm a big Lamar fan, and he's my MVP because his value is immeasurable. He's carrying that roster, and now his best offensive lineman is going to be out, Ronnie Stanley. I think he's getting season-ending surgery.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, for someone that has high hopes for Lamar Jackson this year,
because it's all him.
Yeah, it is basically all him. Yeah. But Dallas, that's an interesting pick because, like,
how
would you describe like them playing against the Patriots? Like, what? I just don't think that the Cowboys played good against the Patriots. They
didn't play good, and they still beat them.
Yeah, it just
but we've seen teams like all year, like the Packers looked terrible against the Saints, and then the Rams looked terrible against the Cardinals, and then the Ravens
what's really funny here, though,
is that Lamar Jackson and some guys.
But what's really funny here is you have two teams that both looked pretty bad against the Patriots, the Bucs and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots are a better team than a lot of people are giving them credit for.
I think it's the defense mostly.
They are.
Patriots defense, and that's where
But you also can't sleep on that offense.
Yeah, you can't.
I would sleep on that offense.
But it's only
they almost got beat by the Texans.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Well, I think they just play up to their competition or play down to their competition, whichever the week calls for.
I like the pick though that he put the Cowboys above it because I could see them,
I really look at that roster and it's just so. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
There's just so much talent, and I'm really not a Cowboys fan. I've hated the Cowboys for most of my life. I'm kind of lukewarm on them now, but they're just really talented. Like Zeke, Tony Pollard, Dak, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. That offensive line with Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. That defense, Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, and they've been playing better.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like the Cowboys in the long run, but
really they've only lost to like a full strength Buccaneers team. That's the only team they've lost to, and that's really impressive. Barely. Like that is extremely impressive. I don't think they're getting enough credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I want to say the Bucs. Like I feel like if I had to pick a team to go farthest, it would probably be them. Tom Brady. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, but he's still a good quarterback. He's been really good this year. And the thing that really gets me about this team is that interior defensive line and those linebackers are really good. And that's just so important in the playoffs. Vita Vea is the best nose tackle in football. And Ndamukong Suh is a great pairing.
He's like a bowling ball. I mean,
he eats blocks and then eats the running back or the quarterback. He's actually insane. Like, he's a talent.
Yeah, he is. It just looks like a bowler bowling a strike, just boom.
He's different.
Yeah.
Like, it's Aaron Donald at 1 as far as interior D lineman, and then 2 is – I feel like we're just going to hear, like, lips and, like, mouth noises on the mic from what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I swear to God.
No, you don't know what we're talking about.
No,
you don't
really.
No, we're talking about a bull crap not call on a walk on a also charge layup.
Oh, yeah. The NBA season has tipped off tonight.
Oh, yeah. We got it going on.
Yeah. So it's only fair that we do, like, kickoffs and tip-offs on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, apparently, yeah.
We started with the Bucks and Cowboys, and here we are with the Bucks and Nets. But we'll cover that more later if we have time.
Well, if that's the case, then we'll do what the Navy likes to do. We'll go tip the butt, and we'll get the Super Bowl in here, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, if you were to ask me what my ranked...
Look at my water real quick.
What'd you just read? It's inside your water bottle was freaking you out.
We are on a journey to start using recycled content. I'm really proud.
Okay. If you were to ask me my ranking of these 5, I would probably go Rams, Cowboys, Packers, Bucks, Ravens.
Yeah, respectable.
Respect.
Only because of who's played who so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But next note we got going on are the Browns in trouble?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
5 of their main players are hurt. Baker's hurt. Jarvis Landry's hurt. OBJ's questionable. Kareem Hunt's out. And Nick Chubb is out.
Yep.
So, I think they should just tank for the year.
And that defense has looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they put a lot of money into it with John Johnson.
Miles Garrett.
I think I need to try out for the
Miles
NFL now.
Sorry?
I think I need to try out for the NFL right now.
I mean, the safety play that we've seen this year, you couldn't do any worse. Maybe you'd have Trevon Diggs' back.
Yeah.
There we go. Is that all we want to talk about there?
Well, I wanted to touch on.
Yes, they're in trouble.
They're in trouble, and don't sign Baker Mayfield to a big contract this
I
offseason.
got one thing. With Baker Mayfield's left shoulder, do you think he should go ahead and get surgery on it and fix it, and then try to come back late in the year and
Yes.
have a playoff run, or just play through it? And
No, there's no way they get a playoff run.
They're not going to make the playoffs with Baker out. And my thing is, I don't want to hear any excuses from Baker if he does decide to play, because if you're playing, you're healthy. That's just how it is.
Well, you got
And honestly, if I'm him, I might not take that risk, because that could be an even worse injury. And I'm not even so sure if I'm sold on the severity of this injury and how much of it is Baker's just not that good.
I mean, granted, it's not his throwing arm, but
we have seen this in other players where an injury just in the back of their head is going to screw them
I mean,
up.
It doesn't affect
any
your confidence.
pain
And
is gonna-
confidence affects your
yeah,
play.
any type of pain is going to make you
Not your
the
top
same
game.
player
Yeah,
that you are. Yeah, exactly. And you're also not going to want to take hits and stuff like that. And that was one thing I saw in the game was it really looked like he was trying to run away from a hit, because it felt like sometimes
Or
Baker
forcing
would-
stuff early.
Yeah, because it felt like Baker would go out of his way and block and stuff like that for his players. Right? It seemed like he was not doing that at all.
And I feel like his play has taken a pretty severe dip, because this game, he didn't have Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt went down. And without that run game, who is Baker Mayfield? And he's not much. He's just a guy. He kind of runs the offense, and he's a benefactor of that great run game.
Well,
and when it's not there, then he looks very human. And he's not Lamar level. And he's maybe not even Joe Burrow level, if I'm being honest.
If you ask me, he's kind of like Ryan Tannehill. Can get the ball,
I can see that.
when he needs to, but he's
like a low level Tannehill to me.
But he relies heavily on that
Kareem Hunt.
running back.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, also, there's not that many teams other than like the Packers with Aaron Rodgers who can do without a run game an entire season. That was actually a really fun season to watch, the Packers.
In 2016?
Yeah, when they have no running backs.
Ty Montgomery was a running back. He was a goat.
So, also moving forward again, are the Bills the team that we thought they were? After losing to the Tennessee Titans, with both teams now being 4-2.
This just screws up everything, I feel like, because you at the beginning you're like, the Tennessee Titans defense is trash, and I said that the defense was trash.
And I said, don't you sleep on
Their
them.
defense is still trash.
I know.
They gave up,
yeah,
was it
but
31 points?
They gave up 31 points. And if it wasn't for Jeffrey Simmons, one of the 3 good defensive players on that team, making an insane play, then they would have lost that game. And then, if we want to talk about that last play for the Bills on offense, where Josh Allen tried to sneak it in on 4th and 1.
it looked like he didn't get his full
He slipped.
It wasn't even that.
He
It's just,
slipped.
if what I saw in the game, it looked like Deion Dawkins just didn't take a proper step to eliminate Jeffrey Simmons from like getting that much penetration.
You know,
Because it
also
didn't
if he
matter-
would have just extended out, he
I don't-
almost would have had a touchdown.
I don't know with how Jeffrey Simmons penetrated that O line.
I mean,
He was in that backfield.
I don't disagree though, but the entire time Allen had the ball tucked. Well, if he would have just,
Yeah,
he potentially would have had.
There's a thing though that like coaches don't want you reaching for it because there's.
Well, I mean, on that play, that is the right play call. Let me say
I
that.
mean, yeah.
You're a 6'5" quarterback. You're gonna take him on a sneak all day.
absolute unit too.
Yeah. So like, I agree. Like, when you're reaching for the first and the game's on the line, we just saw the play before. He's not afraid to put his body on the line with
Yeah,
that hurdle. So like,
Well, but then
he
again, like
definitely
I
was
said,
gonna stretch.
If you watch it, he definitely slipped when he went in for the contact.
Yeah, it didn't look like he got.
And-
Oh, I don't think he was
full-
expecting it to get contact there.
That
I mean,
early.
you
Yeah.
watch Deion Dawkins, or is it Deion Dawkins or who is it? Because I know Deion Dawkins is the left tackle, but I don't know if the left guard was supposed to chip on him or something. But Jeffrey Simmons just penetrates immediately, and it's one of the most insane defensive plays I've seen this year.
He got a jump off of it.
He's lining up right there, and he just penetrates and instantly, and it looks like Deion Dawkins kind of has him 1-on-1. I don't get why you don't maybe put a fullback in front of him.
Yeah.
I get getting him up to the line and getting him just right under center. But,
Honestly, they could have used like just a little chip play off to the left or right
well, but
because they were expecting the stuff up the center.
that is true. But I almost kind of
Like I would have almost preferred to like thrown it over here and let your receiver go 1-on-1 with a corner.
I mean, their secondary is definitely like the most like exposable thing on that defense.
Exactly.
Jeffrey Simmons, I mean, it's a great play by Jeffrey Simmons. My biggest concern is that the Bills' offense was not able to score in this spot to win the game.
Well, I mean, many times this game, the Titans held them to many field goals.
Yeah, it did really seem like every time the Bills had a chance of scoring, the Titans' defense held up and just led them to a field goal.
To be honest, if I was making the play call for this, I would have just kicked the field goal and gone in overtime. Personally,
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I like the call. It definitely didn't go the way of the Bills, but
or absolutely, yeah. Watch right there. He takes a weird just.
Well, you can see that
slips.
Deion Dawkins does not get to like the right side of his chest.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of he squares up with him, and then you just can't block like that. It's a great play by Jeffrey Simmons, regardless. But Deion Dawkins' blocking wasn't great. I'm not really that impressed by the Titans. I know that Derrick Henry can go off and have these amazing games, so I'm not surprised that he did this to the Bills defense.
Did we find the Bills' Achilles heel?
And what is that?
Is a good run game.
If you have a good run game, you
No.
Because
Because there's two teams that do this, that run like them. It's Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb with the Browns.
Mhm.
Well, the Browns might not even be in the playoffs, so it's just the Titans, and I'm not even sure that they'll be able to see each other unless. Because I really think that the Titans probably win that division.
Hands down.
And then I think the Bills have a good chance of having the bye week. And I don't think they'll meet because of that. Because I think the Titans they're very susceptible to being, one and done with that terrible defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not that worried about it because I think this is the only team that can really threaten them.
Okay.
At least in the ground this way.
So you think just because they played Derrick Henry, that's the reason why they lost?
Well, I think it's why it was it was that close to begin with. But I'm more concerned about the offense and them not being able to score in that spot. When you're supposed to be a high-powered offense like the Bills are supposed to be, then you have to score like that, especially against this really bad defense. Like it's a really bad Titans defense.
Yeah, the Bills have high expectations now, and just for them to do that and end it like that, it just disappoints me.
Well, and that's the thing about the Titans. They're I guess they are kind of this team that can be beat by anyone and beat anyone.
Mm-hmm.
they are.
And that's just they're going to be very weird, and that's why
That's who would make a really good wild card.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
they can beat anyone. But I would never pick them to even make the AFC Championship.
Right. So we're going to move on to our Week 7 picks.
Oh yeah, talk about the weekly picks.
And
Nathan and I were the only ones that picked the Titans.
yeah, absolutely. And as a group, we did pretty well from what Easton was telling me our record was.
Yeah, so I had 12 right. Nathan and Trevor had 11, and Caden had 10.
So
Katie, you suck.
No.
Yo,
Caden, he'll get back into it, but
I like picking upsets.
I don't know why you guys didn't pick the Cardinals. I was the only one that picked the Cardinals to win it.
I felt good
Yeah,
about the Browns.
we weren't expecting everyone on the Browns to get hurt and go home.
Yeah.
So going on to this week's picks, our first game that we have on Thursday night is the Broncos versus the Browns.
Man.
And I think I'm taking the Broncos.
I don't know, bro. I'm going with whatever. I don't know, Caden. I have no clue.
Yeah, let's look the kid and get some advice.
Well, it's just like I really was high on the Broncos going into the year.
Yeah, you are.
They don't even have the court. Drew Lock might start that game.
Well, like, okay. The Browns have looked terrible.
Yeah.
I'll pick the Browns, but it's very progressive.
It's going to be a close game.
I got the Browns only because I think that's going to be whatever his defense does better is going to win that game.
I'm going to go with the Broncos then. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'll go with the upset.
Okay, talk about another upset. We next have, starting off on Sunday, the Chiefs versus the Titans.
Chiefs. And then I'll let you guys
I'm taking the Titans.
I feel like it's about time Mahomes picks on a really poor defense, so I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs that one.
You know,
I think you've only picked the Chiefs once.
yeah, and the one time I never won, the one time I picked, but
it really.
I kind of expect the Chiefs to win this one,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe the Titans
The
have.
Chiefs just got to force Tannehill to throw the ball because he's not that special when he throws
You
the ball.
say
If he
that,
throws
but-
the ball, he needs to throw it to Sutton or not Sutton.
Sutton's not on that team.
What's his face? The white guy.
The white guy.
There's many white guys in there.
Sorensen?
Yeah.
Chiefs
Yeah.
safety.
Oh, Sorensen.
Yeah,
oh my
Sorensen.
God.
Yeah.
Sorensen's
Sorensen.
he's not even gonna be on the field. I don't think I
was actually thinking, why is he in the game above? Is it Julian Love
Thornhill.
Sorry, yeah.
I think
Julian Love.
Thornhill has the
Juan
start,
Thornhill,
but
my
I
bad.
think Sorensen's gonna come in here and there to kind of give Thornhill
Well,
a breather.
Sorensen's been getting too much play time for way too long.
I know he gets in once. That's enough. That's enough. Go away.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the football team is going to Green Bay.
Packers.
I feel like
Packers.
the football team kind of owns us sometimes, but I'm gonna pick the Packers. But remember, like right before we went, we were 4-6, and we got dismantled by them in 2016.
Yeah.
They've kind of owned us in the past, which I just thought of, but I
Well-
will still pick the Packers.
Well, they're just a football team now, so.
Yeah.
Next, so we're all taking Packers?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have the Bengals at the Ravens.
Ravens. If the Bengals do win, though,
I feel like Jamar Chase will go off though.
I can see that.
I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm taking the Bengals. Okay. So you got the Ravens.
I have a suspicion. I think a lot of these records are going to even out this weekend. Next, we have the Panthers at the Giants.
Panthers.
It's just the Giants are so banged up. I'll pick the Panthers.
They got booed.
Yeah, I'm taking
Their own
the
stadium.
Panthers as
Technically,
well.
they share. They split custody of that stadium with the Jets.
Yeah.
So then we have the Falcons at the Dolphins.
Dolphins are in
Falcons.
shambles.
Yeah.
But so are the Falcons.
Yeah, but the Dolphins were supposed to be good this year by some people's standards. I'll take the Falcons.
Taking the Dolphins.
You know what? I'll take the Dolphins actually. There's a lot of weapons on that team, and the Atlanta defense is kind of
Trash.
all-time bad.
Who are y'all taking?
I'm taking
Falcons.
Falcons. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Then we have the Jets. Well, it's going to be a good game. We got the Jets at the Patriots.
Yeah, that's gonna be it.
It's going to be the Patriots.
Patriots.
I mean,
Patriots.
Zach Wilson's already looked like a little dummy against the Patriots. I figure I'll probably have.
Oh, wait, a lummy.
I think I got the Patriots.
So we all got Patriots?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have the Eagles at the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah, I'll take the Raiders.
I'll take the Raiders.
But they don't have.
I'm taking the Eagles.
They have an interim head coach.
I
They
need-
did
I
one
need-
last week.
All I'm saying is I need Jalen Hurts to do good because.
Listen, Jalen Hurts plays terrible, as far as football goes, but still puts up 22 fantasy points every week. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
So, who's taking who there? I'm taking the Eagles.
I got
Raiders.
Raiders.
Okay. Then we have the Lions at the Rams.
Rams.
Hey, upset of the year. I'll take the Rams.
They're gonna bite their
I got
kneecaps.
the Raiders.
I'm taking the Rams.
I need Cooper
Then we have.
But he probably will.
Then we have the Chicago Bears at Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Take Tampa.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to choose the Bears for that one, but no. Then we have the Texans at the Cardinals. Here's the ups now.
Cardinals.
Honestly,
D-Hop and J.J. Watt going back home.
yeah. I'm taking Cardinals.
Maybe J.J. Watt and D-Hop will feel so bad that they'll play for the Texans.
Yeah.
It wouldn't help, I don't think.
It would be enough.
Then we have the Colts going to the 49ers.
I'll pick the Colts.
Taking Colts.
I'll take the Colts.
Well, is T.Y. Hilton? I know he was back.
He's coming back.
But he was back last game.
You really think that he's like that big of a difference maker at this stage of his career?
He looked really good this past game. Was it the Dolphins they were playing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Dolphins have a pretty good secondary, though. Like Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, so.
Next, we got, or to finish it off with Monday night, we have the Saints at Seattle.
Saints.
Taking Saints.
Yeah, Saints.
All right. Now we're getting out of NFL. We're going to move on to college football.
Mm-hmm.
And to start off, apparently they want me to say that Easton was right. Easton's never right about anything. But Iowa did lose.
I was right about Iowa. They weren't the top. They aren't a top 4 team. And
Well, they were.
They were. but then my point got proven, and now they're number 7, which that's where I'd probably rank them.
That's better than Razorbacks are right now.
I thought they went down to 11.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Well, that's still better than where the Razorbacks are.
I'd still put them there, but yeah, I don't see Iowa as that dominating top 4 team that whenever I look at Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma. Shoot.
Well, if you ask me, the difference between Georgia and all the other teams is like the West Coast to the East Coast. There's that much There's that much more talent on Georgia. If you ask me, than any other team.
When you get to the South,
you
get to the South, that's where football starts to get real rough. I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't.
For college, at least.
I'm glad that my point was proven about Iowa. I don't see them as a top 4 team. But
hey, my Cincinnati.
Yeah,
going to the championship. It looks better every week.
Yeah, okay, and then I also want to touch on this. Caden said something about Michigan, and about them, they could potentially make it to the college football championship, and I can see it. I can see Michigan going to the
They look like that team that's going to look good, and then I feel like they're going to lose one of their last 2 games that just screwed over.
Yeah, but the door is open.
And then,
the door is definitely kicked
Oklahoma is probably going to make it.
Yeah, because Caleb Williams
is insane.
This is my thing.
Let's say Oklahoma-Georgia game would be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
If
I don't know if it would be, honestly.
If the only way Michigan can get into it is if a top 4 team were to lose.
I can see. Will they have a chance to play? Don't they play Oklahoma?
They play Ohio State the last game. And
Okay.
I feel like if whoever wins that game would have a chance to sneak into the playoffs.
And Oklahoma has.
I can see that. Yeah.
Oklahoma still has. They got Baylor and Oklahoma State, who's ranked number 8. So
who's 4 right now?
who's 4 is Alabama, which does not. It was still.
Well, no. So because Alabama's gonna lose to Georgia in the SEC championship, and then they'll have no chance. So I don't think it matters that they're 4.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they beat Georgia, which is be crazy, and then the playoffs are like all types of like I have no idea.
It'll be Georgia and Alabama.
Georgia, Alabama, and then Oklahoma and Cincinnati.
Probably.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird. Yeah, that would be weird. Not seeing just.
Georgia and Alabama made it to the play.
It's not that. It's just like the fact that there's like a
everyone beat each other, but they're all at the same area.
You lose to A&M, and like you're probably gonna be like ranked 2 if you beat Georgia. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and just read out this next note they got for me here, just because it kind of is funny to me. It reads, Tennessee throws trash on dash field, ... stupid.
Yeah, Tennessee, your football team is not good. So
that's why they threw trash on the field.
Exactly. So they're throwing trash on their own field, which does not make sense. But Tennessee doing that, oh my God, it makes me so furious because your team wasn't out of it, had a chance to win, and you just throwing trash on your field, and to potentially injure somebody on that field. Like, what if somebody threw a like a metal object at a player?
Well, that sounds
They
exciting.
were throwing golf balls at Lane Kiffin.
They were.
Yeah.
He kept one of them
Tennessee.
too.
Yeah.
He literally kept one of the golf balls.
Tennessee, what are we doing over there? Like, you guys are such a disgrace to college football now.
Playing golf.
Yeah.
I mean, the joke was actually quite funny, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean,
Out there playing golf.
but Tennessee throwing trash on their own field and at players that they were meant to. Ole Miss was supposed to win that game.
They
So,
were, but Tennessee did have a chance.
I know there was
It
emotions.
It was a very controversial call,
Mhm.
but as fans, they should know how to act, and that's not what you're supposed to do.
That's
It just makes the refs want it to go the other way even more.
Yeah. So, like, what does that accomplish?
Exactly.
What does it accomplish, Tennessee? And I'm just gonna say this
It
again.
may have
I'm
made
gonna
them feel
emphasize-
good.
I'm going to emphasize my point even more. I'm going to get close to my. Tennessee does not have a good team. They are done for the season. This made me.
Hey,
hate-
Trevor
I'm
likes
getting-
that 'cause he
I'm getting
hates
pissed off at
Tennessee.
Trevor. I don't know why, but I'm getting pissed off. But Tennessee is not good. So throwing trash in the field. Just move on, Nathan, before I throw. it.
Okay. So,
Well, I want to talk about
yeah,
Coach
that's
O.
right.
Coach O got fired.
Oh yeah,
And it
Yeah.
looks
Oh,
insane.
I don't.
Well, he's done. He's done.
Yeah, I don't.
I think he got fired.
As
He didn't get fired, but he-
Wait, back up. Who's Coach O?
LSU's head coach,
Yeah.
and they just beat
Wait,
Florida,
you know,
like, in a
Big
game.
Burly guy?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Why?
He's not good.
Oh, wow.
But there's also been a
Hey,
whole bunch of
now.
stuff coming about, like, apparently and allegedly, he was bringing, like, random women, like, post-divorce, he was bringing, like, women to practice and, like, letting them, like, partake in drills. That was reported. I don't know, like, how valid that
I
is.
think that's kind of cool.
You're a D1 team. This isn't like Pee Wee. You can't do that.
Hey, now, if you got one big enough out there, let's go.
This is SEC football, and you're bringing random flings. To
Hey, but if you think about it, you're saying, hey, my woman can do this drill better than you.
Exactly.
Hey.
He's gonna finish out the season. He's just not
Yeah.
coming back, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I.
But
I just think it'd be funny if he won out the season.
I think LSU,
Yeah.
whenever they had Joe Burrow, that was their golden egg, and they just.
Well, no, they had so
They
much
had a
talent.
stacked
Clyde
team,
Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jefferson,
Exactly.
Terrence Marshall. I'm missing a receiver. Who's the other receiver on the
Jamar
team?
Chase.
Jamar Chase. Yeah, no crap.
Yeah, so they built around Joe Burrow to win football games, and then after that,
I
after
think they
Joe
built to
Burrow,
lose. Actually.
Well, if this is what blows my mind when they see a graduating class who's been doing amazing for 4 years graduate, and then the team becomes trash afterwards. Why do people get so surprised over that? They've got to completely reconstruct.
I think it's
It is
You're supposed to have
to a point,
explain why Alabama's been so good year
I
after
was
year.
just about
year
to say
after year.
that.
but also, also Alabama isn't the team.
Jones, and now they have Bryce Young.
But Alabama's still not the team that they used to be.
They're not. I mean, yeah, they
It's
have
like 1
one
year, though.
loss.
Yeah,
This happened to them with Auburn. Auburn beat them in Alabama before.
What
And
happened?
not only that, Nick Saban's a good coach. And
Hall
I
of
don't
Fame.
know if Coach O is really a good coach.
He's
like,
no,
Nick
he's
Saban-
no, not. He's not.
he's not Nick Saban.
If I was
Yeah.
being recruited by both of them, I'd definitely go to Alabama over.
Exactly.
It's
Well,
funny
yeah.
you say that because the best wide receiver in the country just went to Mizzou, and he had to pick Georgia and Alabama. Why did he go to Mizzou? That does not make sense.
Playtime, baby.
He's from St. Louis. but-
This might surprise you, but I've actually heard this from more players than I would probably expect, and that's why I think we got one of the good basketball players here at Arkansas State.
Desi Seals.
Where or what the universities offer and what degrees
True,
is
yeah.
honestly a big player, and people don't ever talk about that.
Mhm.
One thing I think now is like really interesting with the NCAA allowing players to sign endorsement deals and stuff. I wonder why players wouldn't go to Alabama, because you just have a way better chance, I feel like, to unless you're going to be like a hometown hero at
Yeah, but
Mizzou.
he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, but like he has to be really good to
He's
get
really
a worthwhile endorsement deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as far as Alabama is just a way better investment for yourself, because if you're that talented, then you're going to be a good player on Alabama. You're going to have a chance to get drafted, and yeah, you're going to get publicity and endorsement deals.
And you
Or
also
at least a
look
better
at it-
chance
you
than
gotta
that
look at it
Mizzou.
this way. If you're going to go to Alabama, Alabama's one of those teams that you're going to see on national television
Exactly.
way more often.
And look
than
at how many
receivers do.
receivers that go to Alabama are in the NFL in our first round draft picks. It's a lot.
Well, see, especially with even someone like me, if you're gonna go to Mizzou, I couldn't name one person in Missouri right now.
Yeah.
I could name a couple of people in Alabama, and I don't
Yeah.
even keep up with Alabama.
Yeah.
So it proves your point right there.
Exactly.
Okay. So moving on to our next topic or note we have okay, so explain to me who Caleb Williams is and what starting spot he's snatching.
Well, he's
Spencer Frogler.
Spencer Rattler. Caleb Williams looks.
Really good, like the best quarterback in
I
college
don't, and
football.
it just surprised the hell out of me too that he just came out of nowhere and just takes Spencer Rattler's job just like that. And if I'm Spencer Rattler, I am leaving Oklahoma immediately.
Yeah, but who's gonna want him really? Like,
Exactly.
I mean,
Mizzou-
someone's gonna take him off, like
Well,
right?
like,
But it's just.
Nebraska. You know what? I think Nebraska might pick them.
But there's not a better. Like, he's not gonna look better in any other situation because quarterbacks always look good playing there.
But,
And if you can't look good playing there, then maybe you're just not that good.
Jalen Hurts look amazing.
Jalen, I mean, how many Heisman's go there?
Exactly, yeah. That are now in the NFL.
Exactly.
Very-
First round. I mean, at least top 2 round draft pick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not going to go into this, but I want y'all to comment what y'all's top 5 pick for colleges right now. But
Top 4.
Top 4.
top 4, whatever. Give us a top 6 if you want them.
I don't.
But I mean, we touched on this a bit last week, and especially now that the NBA is kicking off, we're now going deeply into our NBA segment. And starting off with the NBA kicking off, there is a new foul rule against, I guess you would say, against the offense
Well,
that can be committed by the offense now starting this season.
well, it's not really a foul. It's just offensive players can't create their own
Yeah,
contact.
yeah. It's no longer
Taking
going to
a
be
shot.
called a shooting foul on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And who got a foul for it in the preseason?
Steph
It
Curry.
was Steph
Steph
Curry.
Curry. So yeah, if you do something like that, then you can get a foul.
So they can actually call the foul on.
Apparently, I mean that's what they do to Steph. So.
Did he? Well, I know his was like way exaggerated.
Yeah.
He literally like threw his body into the guy. If you do that, it's gonna be a foul. But like, I know like sometimes James Harden and was it Trey Young do this thing where they like, you can't flick your feet. That's still an offensive foul. But like, they just leaned their shoulders into it to make it look like, oh, he hit me first, and I was trying to.
Trey Young would kind of like drive by somebody and then
And
kind of
stop.
jump backwards. Yeah.
where you can't do that now. Which I actually like because
Takes a lot of the flop out of the game.
Yeah,
to an
like,
extent.
What they were doing was like not basketball.
It
was
seemed
just
Right.
looking for
it
a
just seemed
foul.
like they were penalizing the defensive player for something they couldn't control.
Yeah,
Right.
You can't really control your body when you're in the air.
And instead of the offensive player actually taking the shot and making a good shot, they were relying on the potential free throw shots.
Like if you can get that foul, like James Harden and Trey Young, then get that foul. I'm not saying that they're bad players for using that to their advantage. You absolutely should.
When it was allowed,
Yeah.
that was probably the best thing you could have done.
Exactly. Like no blame on their end at all.
Exactly.
But I am
They were
glad
taking
that I'm glad you
advantage
can't
of
do
it.
it anymore because it's just not basketball.
Oh, we're just taking advantage of it. They mastered the art of getting away with it.
Yeah, now it's going to be funny watching them having to get used to or not being able to do it.
Yeah,
You're gonna-
just airball
Yeah.
threes
Yeah.
and stuff.
So
Oh, I thought you said James Harden was the deadliest 3-point shooter in the league. How is he going to airball a 3?
Well, when he does that stupid contact stuff.
If he was the deadliest ever, then I don't think he should airball ever.
to be clear, he did say step back.
No, he didn't. He said 3-point shooter.
I said 3-point shooter.
Anyway, moving on to our second point for the NBA. What do y'all think about Ben Simmons not wanting to play?
That's what the Sixers said. That's what Joel Embiid said. That's what Doc Rivers said. I pretty much quoted them verbatim.
Did y'all see him practicing with those phone in his pocket?
Yeah,
He got kicked out of practice.
Doc Rivers literally walked him out.
Yeah, because he wouldn't partake
Come
in a
with me,
defensive
son.
drill.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want
come
you
with
here.
me. Get out of here.
I mean, no one on that team likes him. We've seen Danny Green and Joel Embiid just rip into him in these interviews. Just get out of there.
Joel Embiid today, like one of the reporters asked him, like, "Hey, what's your feelings on Ben Simmons right now?" He goes, "That's not my business. Quit asking me questions about it. I'm tired of it."
Well, he's been a little bit more candid than that recently.
Yeah.
It's been kind of crazy to see like players talk about like a teammate in that way. But I'm really happy
He
about it.
wants
It's
to-
really
If you
funny.
ask me, I really think teammates should actually do that more often because I don't think
It's just extremely disrespectful for like how Ben Simmons has handled the situation. Like to show up to practice and just refuse to partake in defensive.
I mean,
drills.
if it's one thing if you don't want to play with that team anymore and you're looking to go somewhere else, but don't be a dick for that team because that's going to be harder for other teams to look at you and say, "Yeah, you're someone I need to help my team
it's
out."
Like your trade value goes to
James Harden kind of did the same way last year, where he didn't want to play until he got
and I love James Harden.
It wasn't like he was showing up practice and being distracted.
He still contributed to the team. You could just definitely tell
he wasn't winning.
Drive to play there was just not there.
I would say that Harden earned that right because how many amazing MVP level years did he give them, and they just didn't give him the proper help around him and the proper talent.
Ben Simmons
is garbage.
Yeah,
like Ben Simmons is good.
I mean,
Ben Simmons looks so
if you
bad
ask
in the
me,
playoffs.
that was very similar.
He is bad. He is bad.
He's not bad. He's not bad. He's just.
What?
He's not bad.
He's so afraid to shoot the ball. It looks like a puppy dog.
Well, he's still like a top 5 defender, perimeter defender,
Yeah.
and he's a really good interior defender. When he has his confidence, he has a pretty good post game, like just being able to like get down the court, layups, and he's a great playmaker. He just can't shoot, and he has confidence issues. But that still makes him. He's still a good player.
He's a scared little dog out there just playing basketball, but no one's gonna want him.
I mean, you're gonna want him. It's just you're not gonna get like that. Like before the playoffs, you could have got a pretty good haul for Ben Simmons, and now it's just not the same. Like you'd be lucky to get Kyrie now, and even with Kyrie's situation, you'd be lucky to get him.
But I almost kind of blame the 76ers for it right now because if they would have traded him before all this happened,
he wouldn't be acting like this. Probably
they could get a lot more for him now than he is.
Well, you just gotta look at like a point guard that can't shoot, and then Joel Embiid. Is that ever gonna work?
No.
Like, that's just a really bad.
You got your like, top 2 players,
and they just
want to play in the paint.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have no one. Like all you gotta do is play lockdown defense in the interior and just.
It's Ben Simmons drive, kick out, and then nothing happens because there's like it's the entire offense. And then we saw in the playoffs like. He was avoiding the ball. Your point guard was avoiding having the ball in his hand.
I mean, they ripped him out when they're in close games, but they got a minute left because they didn't want him shooting the free throws.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad.
Nicholas Claxton with
cool.
Put back.
Yeah, cool. You're a great defender, but like he cannot shoot the ball.
I mean, not
everyone in basketball is going to shoot. I wasn't a shooter when I played basketball, so
players that can't shoot still have value, but it's really hard to be like a really valuable player at the point guard position if you can't shoot. Maybe he'd be better suited for a power forward.
Yeah, he's not handling the situation well. That's what I'll say.
Just a quick note on the whole James Harden situation last season. That reminds me a lot of what was going on with Aaron Rodgers this preseason. Mm-hmm. Very similar situation, except for eventually Green Bay actually started listening to Aaron Rodgers, and that's the only reason why I think he's still there this season.
And he has a lot more talent on his roster.
Yeah. It's just Aaron Rodgers had a better opportunity elsewhere at this point.
I don't think he had a better opportunity elsewhere. I think it was just more like the relationship with the organization needed to be repaired.
Yeah.
And like there's 2 big reasons why Harden went out of Houston. One, he was doing so much for the organization and
very little return.
Yeah, they didn't get much out of it. And his coach and the GM both left after that season, and he wanted to stay with the GM.
Right.
Because he
didn't get traded to the 76ers. He got traded to the Nets, which I win-win if you ask me, because I think Houston's coach is one of the assistants on the Nets right now.
Well, I'm not sure.
I can't remember his name.
I would feel like that coach would get a head coaching job.
No, I think he's an assistant on the Nets right now. Yeah, I know he was last season.
I'm blanking on his name too.
Look at the coaching job by Steve Nash right now.
Steve Nash is garbage.
Phenomenal.
So, I mean, we got plenty of time to talk about this today. Just real quick, who is y'all's NBA championship prediction game?
Prediction?
Not just
Milwaukee going back and back.
I was about to say, not just whoever's going to win it, but who's going to play.
Who's going to play?
Yeah.
I got Milwaukee playing the Lakers or potentially maybe the Warriors sneaking in there.
Because they got Klay Thompson now.
Klay Thompson back.
I'm going to go with the Nets. I think Kevin Durant will eventually catch some fire. I think the Nets will catch some fire towards whenever the playoffs get closer. And then I will go with the Lakers. I think the Lakers are going to be unstoppable this year if everybody's healthy.
I think I'll
want to see some.
We'll see a rematch. I think we're gonna see Lakers Heat because I don't think the Nets are gonna be able to stay healthy.
You don't think so? Because Kevin Durant.
Well,
You say
they're
Heat?
Lakers Heat.
Think the Heat are gonna make it that far?
They add Kyle Lowry. And this is a team that did make the finals, and I feel like they still match up pretty well against Giannis. I know Giannis kind of got past that this past year, but Bam Adebayo he wasn't really healthy during that series, if I remember correctly, and he's kind of like a Giannis stopper type of guy.
He is.
And I feel good about having PJ Tucker. They got a lot of veterans there. Jimmy Butler was the best player on a finals team. When he's playing at his best, he's insane. And I just don't trust the Nets to stay healthy at the end of the day.
The only thing that I can see, if Tyler Hero can play up
to the hype.
Yeah, the hype he is.
Well, the thing is,
that team.
His expectations are really low right now because he had a bad year last year.
Mm-hmm.
So he can only outperform what's expected of him, and that's kind of an X factor for them. I'll agree with that. Also, one team I'm kind of
can play better than the season and play even better than when they went to the finals. That team's gonna look really good this year.
And one team I am kind of wary of is the Nuggets. I'm gonna be real. I like the Nuggets quite a bit.
They could probably sneak in there, but I just don't see them finishing out in this.
Where are your Suns, Easton?
My Suns, I don't know, dude. The Devin Booker is gonna do the best he can.
That was a 1-year wonder team.
Yeah, but that was their only chance. Chris Paul's coming back. Maybe they catch some fire.
DeAndre Ayton isn't happy.
Yeah, he's not, which is amazing because we've given him everything.
Well, except for his money.
Well, dude, he hasn't lived. DeAndre Ayton has not lived up to the hype. Everybody was calling him next Shaquille O'Neal. He just hasn't. He's been.
I was never calling him that. So
I would call him. At first, I looked at him and I'd be like, man, he could live up to a Shaq potential.
I thought he could be one of the better centers in the game. But he's just very one dimensional. He's just like an old school center.
He lets his emotions get to him a lot.
He's just not a super complete player. He's just a center.
But whenever I look at the Lakers, they are gonna roll past.
The only reason why the Lakers look good is because they have 4 really good people on their team.
I think that roster from top to bottom is better than people give credit for.
It's Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Where's the flaw?
The only thing,
spacing, and then age, and depth. I like their depth, but there's just really old depth.
To be honest, I could see LeBron James not playing. Well, he's definitely not gonna play every game this year, but I could see him missing a decent amount of time this year just because the age is gonna get to him.
I think it'd be awesome to see Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Yeah, well, just I don't think they have to play in the regular season. I think they'll still be a good team without those guys playing.
Put their minutes down and
exactly, and let them be healthy by the playoffs. And then the Suns take over.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Bounce it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that's Russell Westbrook's role almost to carry this team through the regular season and let these guys get some more rest and not put that much mileage on their body. I think that's his biggest role in this team.
That's a great take. I feel like.
Well, I'm definitely going to be a lot quieter in the NBA as I am even in college because at least in college I know most of the teams there. In NBA, I couldn't name you half the teams probably. I know they got the Rockets and you got the Warriors and you got those other guys, but I'm not a big basketball fan, not like some of these guys are.
Well, we got to cover the WNBA. Their finals were just played.
Oh, well, then we're not talking about them since they're done.
Yeah.
Was it the Liberty?
Yes, because people are going to watch our show for the WNBA. If no one watches ESPN for the WNBA, then who's going to listen to our show for the WNBA?
Hey, bro, give more respect. Who's that one girl? Play for Oregon.
I couldn't tell you.
I can't pronounce it. That's why I can't say it.
About the white chick?
Yes. She's a bucket.
She's kind of hot.
She's a bucket.
Anyway, y'all, thanks for listening to episode 7 of the network. We will be again here, absolutely again next week for episode 8. Let us know what else y'all want us to talk about with the NBA going forward. What's some good topics for the NFL that y'all might want covered. And like I said, who's y'all's top 5, 4, 6, or whatever people in college?
People or teams?
Either way, people or teams. Who's your favorite corner in college? Anyway, thank y'all. Y'all have a great night. We'll talk to you again next week.